Well, finally.
Jamie, it's Kristen.
Oh, sorry, Kristen. I've been waiting on my boyfriend to call like an hour ago. What's up?
Mom said Mama's birthday's coming up on the 14th, and it's going to be her 65th.
Yeah, I think she was born in like the 1800s.
Jamie, do you realize how long it's going to be till we're 65? 16, 26, 36, 46. Well, trust me, we don't want to think about it. I mean, can you just imagine how long ago when she was a girl? I wonder what she was like when she was our age.
No one had shoes and they all walked to school. I've heard her say that a lot.
No, I mean, what was she like? Certainly somebody could tell us.
Didn't you ask your mom?
Yeah, she said they always had to play outside when she was a kid, so she wouldn't be much help.
That's what my mom says, too. Hey, I have an idea. When John's not doing his homework, he runs an investigative news team as a hobby. I'll ask him what he can find out.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
John here.
John, I got a little job for you.
Alright, yeah, okay. Give me a couple days to see what I can dig up. Yeah, okay. Alright. Alright, bye. Good evening. I'm John Fennell.
And I'm Kristen Johnson.
Thank you for joining us. Here's our top story tonight. Wanda, Mom, Mama. Just who is this woman that we think we know? Our team has spent weeks and months and sent out our reporters all over the country just to answer this question on everyone's mind. Just who is Wanda? And now meet the rest of our team. Live from Farmers Market is Grant Freeman.
Reporting from Gun Barrel City is Mark Fennell.
Live from Florida is Daniel Johnson.
And with the special fashion report from New York City is Jamie Fennell.
It's not very often here at the network that we're able to work on a story so close to us, but it may not be a story you're very familiar with. So we asked our own Kristen Johnson to do some research, and she filed this touching report.
Thank you, John. When I started work on this piece last year, I really thought I knew where I was headed, but I learned some things along the way, and some of them might surprise you. To find out where the story ends, I thought I would start where it all began, Waxahachie, Texas. Born April 14, 1937, Wanda Lou was the second of 3 daughters to Homer and Elizabeth Logan. Elizabeth told her that she always wanted boys, so she grew up as a tomboy. She was active in the 4-H club, played the French horn, and danced and sang while her mother played the piano.
We spent lots of times singing anywhere and everywhere we were told to, didn't we? From the county barn to the community center at Corbett to wherever anybody needed us, wherever Mother wanted us to perform, that's where we sang. So that's where you get your singing talent from.
She's, I think, always been a wonderful singer. I love listening to them sing, and I remember getting goosebumps in church when her and Dad would be up there singing. And I treasured the holidays when all of us would get together and sing, and I'd have to say Silent Night was absolutely my favorite.
This is a perfect example of the talent that the Logan girls displayed in their youth, and I never did very well with this kind of stuff. But Peggy and Wanda did very well with it, and they enjoyed it a lot.
Wanda married a handsome Yankee named Hamilton Darling at the age of 19. She was 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighed 118 pounds. She had a 19-inch waistline. What a looker. She was whisked away to upstate New York, where they proceeded to have 4 children right in a row. They led an active life while always enjoying nature and the outdoors. Unfortunately, this was not to last, and Wanda was widowed at the age of 36 with 4 children to care for. Luckily, Wanda is a strong woman, and after her oldest daughter, Dawn, graduated from high school in New York, she moved the family back to Texas. Dawn came to Texas a few years later. Wanda retired from IBM after a successful career lasting over 20 years. Then, on April 6, 1996, Wanda married the good-looking and charming John Fennell in Duncanville, Texas. Wanda and John recently moved to their new lake house that they built by themselves on Cedar Creek Lake. Now back to you, John.
Thank you, Kristen. Next, we sent out Daniel Johnson to the state of Florida, and he filed his report.
Thank you, John. It was just last week I asked my mother for another video game system, and she said, well, you already have 2. On more than one occasion, she has struck me as being thrifty, and I became concerned. Could this disease be genetic? So I came to Melbourne, Florida to investigate. The first person I interviewed was Dean Darling, and I asked him, is Wanda thrifty?
Was she thrifty? Yes, many hand-me-downs, many sewn together garments that were very nice to get.
Well, I think she was very thrifty, and what comes to mind is when she would buy entire bolts of fabric and make everybody the same outfit out of the same fabric. And I've seen pictures where everybody's dressed the same, and I know Dean hated those dresses.
We used to call her the queen of ground beef because she could make everything out of ground beef. She made so many different meals out of ground beef, but it was all good. I mean, as a child, it was, just wonderful.
Yes, she was thrifty. I remember specifically having certain meals planned for every night of the week. Like Tuesday night was liver and onions, and I'm sure it was a cheap meal. And then always spaghetti, and then hot dogs and beans, and bread and butter, and I can't remember the other 2, but it was, SOS! That's a good one, thank you.
Thrifty. Heck, she buys in bulk, Her Sam's membership card number is 00001.
And on a side note, John, while doing our research for this story, we looked up thrifty in the dictionary, and here's what we found. So, you can see, John, I believe there's a family history here. You may want to have your father screened immediately. Now, back to you, John.
Friday's not soon enough. I'm gonna need an appointment ASAP.
Thank you, Daniel, for that informative report. How's Florida?
The scenery and weather here have been beautiful, John. I highly recommend a visit, and if you ever get a chance to come, Uncle Dean only charges $14.95 a night to stay at his house. Well, I'm off to catch some waves before my flight back, so that's all for now.
It seems that every time this family gets together, Wanda has always done the cooking, so we asked Grant Freeman to file this report.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
It looks like we are having technical difficulties. It appears we are now ready with that report from Grant.
Thank you, Kristen. I've come to farmer's market to ask, what kind of a cook is Wanda? And here are some of the responses I got.
I love her pork roast and baked apples. That's my favorite dish she makes.
She's always been a wonderful cook, as long as I can remember. Even though if you didn't want it, you still had to eat it.
Pork roast, pretty good stuff.
My favorite dish is meatloaf.
Banana cream pie, banana pudding. It's like I have a banana thing. Spaghetti and homemade meatballs.
It was only last summer when I had a chance to visit Wanda. Every morning was like a trip to Denny's. I can tell you, she is a great cook. I am already planning a trip next summer. As you can see, the pickings at home are pretty slim. Now back to you, Kristen.
Thank you, Grant.
Let's go out to Mark Fennell, who's actually in Gun Barrel City for this report.
Thank you, John. I'm here at Wanda's and John's house, and I'll say the cooking is excellent. But no matter how good the food is, nothing tastes good at 5:30 in the morning. We have to wake up at times I think are unhealthy for children. So I wonder, where does she get all of her energy from?
I think she has more energy than all four of her children put together.
I think that probably is inherited from Ms. Logan, because she had a lot of energy, and I don't recall us ever being able to lay in bed on any given morning past sunrise. You know, I don't recall ever sleeping late. Mother and Daddy always made us get up and get going.
I think it's from our parents because they had such a strong work ethic, and naturally that transfers over to us. And I think Peggy and Wanda and I all feel very strongly about our roles in life and our responsibility.
She's had energy as long as I have known her, and I think it came from Grandma Logan because she was exactly the same way.
I remember in the summers when we got to stay home by ourselves, that was before cordless phones, she would call and she would make sure Dean was up. And we couldn't walk the phone in there when he was in bed, and so she knew he would have to get up out of his bed, walk to the kitchen, and get on the phone.
Remember 1 or 2 days in my entire stay-at-home period where I was actually able to sleep in. I think it was something with smallpox or broken bones or some kind of a legitimate excuse like that.
She always let me sleep late. I was her favorite in-law, you know.
I don't remember her ever letting us sleep late. If we stayed out late and were tired in the morning, that was just too bad.
The only time I can think that might have even been able to sleep late was when I went over to Robin Rooney's house with Dawn one night, and I drank a whole bottle of wine, and I was sicker than a dog the next morning.
Wanda, I have no idea where you get all your energy from. Sometimes I think you're from another planet, you got so much energy. But also, that's probably another story.
I do remember working on the deck out in back of her house with her and putting in the hot tub.
She's helped us build a shed, a fence, helped us repair many things, and helped us move more times than I can remember. I would guess probably at least 3 times.
So you see, John, this is no vacation. If she invites you down here again, you may want to use the band excuse again. I think she's busy right now. I think she's trying to build a shed before dawn. So I might want to catch a little shut-eye. Back to you, John.
Will do, Mark, and thank you for that report. Now I'd like to introduce our fashion correspondent, Jamie Fennell, reporting to us from New York.
When I started this piece, I felt that all fashion originated in either Paris, Milan, or New York. But I was surprised to find that while fashion grows in the major cities, many of its roots reach down to Texas.
Before Camelot, there was Corsicana, and Jackie was oh so late to adopt the casual beach style. And it's no coincidence that Mount Marion and New Rochelle are both in upstate New York. Laura Petrie's style was a direct result of Wanda's trim figure and form-fitting fashions.
And we learned off of feed sacks, didn't we? We just learned at home. We could get the chicken feed emptied out of the sacks. We'd wash the sacks and iron them, and then you'd start cutting out. And it didn't matter if we messed up the material because it didn't cost them anything anyway. So I guess you started your talent then.
Grandma Taylor probably taught her how to sew. I mean, she spoke fondly of the types of things they used to do together.
I have to guess Grandma Logan taught her how to sew. And I'm going to say the antique sofa that we worked on together is my best memory of working together with her on a sewing project. And the most amazing thing I think she has ever sewn are the teeny tiny Barbie clothes that we had that any adult woman would have been proud to have. Tiny, fur-lined, beautiful things.
The best thing of all about her sewing, the very, very best, I had this inspiration to have, because I had my wedding dress wadded up in a bundle for 30-some years. So a couple of years ago, Wanda, I sent the wedding dress to her and I asked her to make throw pillows so that I could give them to Adrian and Diana. And just phenomenal. They were just absolutely beautiful. She made 5 beautiful pillows and then 1 small heart-shaped pillow that I was supposed to give to Audrey, but I didn't. I kept it for myself.
I wanted to wear one of my prom dresses again, and it was this beautiful pink number, but it had lots of layers. And I remember the long style was out of fashion, and so I asked her if she could shorten it for me. Well, it was a really full skirt, and like 7 layers, and it would have taken her years. So I'm like, well, gee, can't you just like cut up the waist or something? Not understanding how you would cut up the length of a skirt, and she did it for me.
And John, just to give you an idea of her influence, take a look at one of the pieces I picked up here in New York. It's one of the hottest labels out right now. Back to you, John.
Jamie, I'm curious. How did you make it all the way to New York? I know that no one here at the network authorized that trip.
Well, John, when I was a baby, I was diagnosed with what doctors were then calling thrifty disorder. But I can tell you that with early diagnosis, it can be cured. Thanks, Daddy.
Thank you, Jamie, for that report. And come home soon. Now, for this next story, I investigated it myself. It seems that every time Wanda goes to a school play or recital, it made her cry. Now, if you have ever seen any of my cousins act, you'd know why. But this seems to be for an entirely different reasons. Unlike normal people, as you or I, who cry out of sadness or by being assigned a fake chore by Dad, it turns out that some people cry out of happiness. I asked this question to our sample group, and these are some of the responses I got.
And yes, Wanda has been known to cry on many occasions, happy, sad, or really for no reason at all.
Yes, she cries at happy occasions, and it's a gene that she passed along.
And Dawn came too, so it was me, Dawn, and Mom, and Jamie started playing, and the 3 of us started crying. And we cried so hard that the people, and we didn't know anybody in the church, the people in front of us and the people behind us thought there was something wrong. And they started asking us if we were all right, and they started handing us Kleenex.
I do remember her crying pretty much every time there was a family prayer.
I think we may have a clip that will help us test this theory.
Happy birthday, Mama.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Wanda.
Happy birthday, Mom.
That concludes our show tonight, and happy birthday, Mama.
Trees of green, a this dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are so pretty in the skies, are also on the faces of people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, say, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I see babies cry while I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I said to myself, what a wonderful
Edinburgh City, where Mark Fennell actually is.
Ooh, that's a bad word.
This is annoying.
Food is
You recorded that, didn't you?
New York, but I have.
Kept getting steadily worse.
It was only last week. Never mind.
Thank you, Kristen.
It looks as if we're having technical difficulties.
That wall meant.
A story that you are very familiar with. And Kristen Johnson.
When John's not doing his homework, he runs an investigative. Aw, dang.
Did you record that?
Oh, darn, I left the camera on.